This is CES MMA.
Here is our red stack tail of the tape. We move on to the bantamweight division. TATEKI Matsuda, fighting out of Boston by way of Tokyo, comes in at 8-5 with 4 knockouts. He's taking on Matt Doherty, who's 3-0 with 2 big knockouts, fighting out of Salem, Mass. Let's send it down to Adam Palazzo for the official introduction.
This is the red stag bout of the evening. This fight is scheduled for 3 rounds in the bantamweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, weighing in at 135 pounds with a professional record of 8 wins, 5 losses, with 4 wins coming by way of knockout. Hailing from Boston, Massachusetts by way of Tokyo, Japan, ladies and gentlemen, TATEKI Matsuda. And fighting out of the blue corner, weighing in at 135.5 pounds with a professional record of 3 wins, 0 losses, with 2 wins coming by way of knockout. Hailing from Salem, Massachusetts, ladies and gentlemen, Matt the Mantis Doherty.
Welcome back to Twin River Casino. It's CES MMA 23. Mike Parenti joined by Matt Bissett, and this one should be a war in the bantamweight division. TATEKI Matsuda, Matt Doherty, in what could be the fight of the night, Matt, between 2 of the best in the Northeast.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this fight. This is going to be a boxer versus a kickboxer right now. Matt looking to establish his jab right away, and I think that's really smart.
Matsuda in more of the form-fitting black trunks, Doherty in the black with the green lettering. Matsuda for years has been on the Northeast circuit, considered one of the top bantamweights, and rightfully so, but he's coming off back-to-back split decision losses. He lost to Matthew Tran in September of 2013 and then lost to Paul Gorman in November in a title fight. That was a 5-round bout. When I asked him if he thought he won those fights, he goes, "It's not really my place to say. You can watch and tell me what you think." So clearly felt he might have won those fights. Doherty with a big takedown gets Matsuda on his back. And Matsuda appeared to be in trouble for a brief second, but regains his composure.
Yeah, I don't think he was hurt too much there. It just looked like a big drop, and the crowd just kind of reacted. Matsuda's back. He's got his wits about him, and he's defending really well.
It was more wild than anything else.
Yeah. His feet are on the hips right now. He's going to go for a sweep. He's going to look to pop back to his feet or get top position right now.
Doherty trying to keep him there on his back.
Matsuda looking to push the head, escape his hips, get to a front headlock, or get back to his feet. Nice transition to the back by Doherty.
That was smooth as silk by Doherty. Yeah, absolutely. Great transition, gets him right back down again. Now trying to work that left arm underneath, maybe for a choke. Right hand to soften him up. I don't know if it's in deep enough. Hey, let's go. Matsuda appeared to have that arm at least in between for some space. Now Matsuda has Doherty on his back and presses him against that cage. Plenty of action here in the first 2 minutes of this bantamweight showdown. TATEKI Matsuda from Boston taking on the undefeated Matt Doherty. You want to talk about a step-up fight, Matt? Here is 3-0 Matt Doherty taking on TATEKI Matsuda with 13 pro fights under his belt. When I asked him what made him take this fight so soon, he said, well, we had a common opponent in Johnny Campbell. TATEKI went 3 rounds with Campbell. He knocked him out. And that gave him the confidence that he could go in there with TATEKI Matsuda and compete. And certainly he has competed and then some here in this opening round here at CES MMA 23.
You know what, sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes you just need the confidence to go in there, and then once you get that first minute or minute and a half out of the way, you realize that you are meant for this position. And Matt's taking the back right now with the body triangle, and he's pretty confident right now, and I bet you he's going to gain steam as the fight goes on too.
Very similar to January when Kin Moy, with only 3 fights, took on Andre Sukumta, who had won 8 consecutive fights.
Yes.
And a lot of people considered him the underdog, and he went on to win that fight. And I think Doherty is in a similar spot where Kin Moy was, perhaps the underdog against the veteran TATEKI Matsuda, but right now taking it to Matsuda in this opening round, showing no fear whatsoever.
That's a good comparison, too.
That choke again appears to be somewhat locked in, but he does let it go for a second. Matsuda with good wrist control, prying that arm off him. Minute and a half to go in round number 1.
Doherty's doing a good job of keeping the body triangle here, but it looks like Matsuda's trying to turn in. That's a really tough position to deal with. That body triangle can be really tight, restricting on the breathing. And you know, a lot of times it doesn't do much but just keep him in that position. But you know, sometimes that wins in the judges' scorecards. Here you go, Matsuda switching to top position, looking to deliver a little bit of ground and pound here.
Matsuda finally turns the tide, and again, like you said, that ground and pound in this final minute. And sometimes in these close fights, Matt,
very nice pass.
That flurry toward the end can sometimes steal a round. I think Doherty's done enough thus far in this round, but Matsuda can make a real strong finish and at least make a statement going forward if he finishes strong here in this final minute.
Doherty didn't do much from top position with his ground and pound, so if Matsuda can capitalize here with some elbows, maybe get mount position, take the back, something that's really going to stick in the judge's eyes, we could see the tide's turned a little bit here. Maybe give the round to Matsuda if he can do something here in the last 20 seconds.
I agree. Doherty more or less had control while he was on the back, but Matsuda was a little bit more active when he flipped and actually assumed guard position, so we'll see if that plays a factor in the scoring. Final 10 seconds of round number 1. Matsuda trying to stay busy, driving that knee into the midsection. And another knee to the ribcage by Matsuda. Again, just trying to stay busy as the bell rings for the end of round number 1. Action-packed round, absolutely. Matt Doherty comes out flying. Again, perhaps as the underdog, looking good thus far. Let's listen into Tateki Matsuda's corner.
Listen to me, okay? Controlled aggression, okay? Use your hands. Stay basic. Okay?
No, like, roll up in your fist. Yeah.
Eyes closed. Think, you talk.
Yeah, Tateki. When you move, when you go to punch and kick and do anything, don't do it slow. You're not sparring anymore. This kid's going to catch things. He's going to slip punch you. He's going to get your legs. He's going to take you down. What did I tell you? I said, do not be on your back. You cannot be on your back at all anymore, Tateki. Not anymore at all. You can outwork him on the ground. He put a lot into trying to finish you there. He's tired now. He's flat.
Pressure, not just one punch, you know.
Yeah.
Tateki Matsuda, another student of Sigatong in Boston. You hear John Johnson telling him, do not be on your back anymore in this fight. You cannot afford to be there.
Great cornering. I think we're going to see the veteran now, Matsuda, come out. I think he's going to be moving, circling, using his stand-up, using his kicks, and trying to keep Matt at bay.
Round 2 underway here at CES MMA 23. Mike Parenti joined by Matt Bissett. Right now you're watching Tateki Matsuda and Matt Doherty. Doherty in the black trunks with the green lettering. Matsuda in the black with the yellow trim on the bottom. And again, I think it was great advice by John Johnson in Matsuda's corner to tell him you cannot be on your back. And now this time he tries to go for the takedown.
Nice trip takedown with a double leg there. And he passes immediately to side control.
And now we'll see what Matsuda can do from this position. We didn't really see Matsuda at his best in that opening round because he was on his back for the most part. Doherty had great control. Now Matsuda trying to be more active, driving those knees into the midsection.
You know what, though? Even when Matsuda had his back taken, he was able to defend the proper way with wrist control. And you know, that in itself can be the sign of a true veteran. Just able to defend and stay calm. And now look at him in the second round. He's establishing top control here, looking to pass the guard.
This is Matsuda's first appearance at CES MMA since 2010 when he beat Jason Bennett. At the time, Bennett was one of the top-ranked bantamweights in the Northeast as well. Now it's billed as a who's who kind of fight in that weight class. Matsuda went on to win that one unanimously and went on to win 3 of his next 4 before the back-to-back losses that we mentioned in 2013. And again, those fights were pretty close too. So Matsuda really in a game of inches.
Already going for the heel hook there.
Interesting move here.
Matsuda spins out of it.
Matsuda spins out, they both get back to their feet. Now Matsuda trying to unload with those knees. And as I mentioned, mixed martial arts can be a game of inches sometimes. Matsuda could very easily be 10-3 instead of 8-5. Had a few things going his way. Nice takedown, nice single leg takedown by Matsuda. 3:14 to go in round number 2. Much better round here for Matsuda.
Absolutely. Nice knee on belly transitioning. Good side control here. You could tell he's got heavy hips and he's able to control this position. Doherty's he's not liking this position right here. I think Matsuda's going to look to try to land some elbows here, trap an arm. He's probably not going to go to mount because he looks pretty strong here in side control.
Matsuda so far taking the advice of his corner to stay off his back. Doherty trying to squirm his way out of this position, and almost does, but Matsuda again regains control.
Doherty should look to try to upa up and use the springboard off the cage there. Try to get back to his knees and create a scramble. Bring his elbows in. His elbows are too high right now. They're being controlled by underhooks. Matt can't stay here. He's got to create a scramble, get back to his knees.
We'll see if Doherty can get back to his feet or at least turn over here. Doherty enters his fight 3-0. Again, having just defeated Sean Marmus here at Twin River in January. Also beat Johnny Campbell and Terrence Swanson. And again, as you mentioned, very strong amateur background as well. Won his last 2 amateur fights against Rico DeSciullo, who we saw earlier tonight. So a strong resume there. Matsuda unloading here.
This is a bad position for Matt. This crucifix position is something that the guys from Sit Yao Tong have really displayed very well. Jimmy Davidson in one of his fights, they like this position. It's a strong, strong position with side control. Matt's able to get out right now, but you know what? If he goes back to that position, that could be an early night for Matt.
Absolutely, it makes it almost impossible to defend yourself, and Matsuda rains down those short hammer fists. He almost puts Doherty in a defensive position, and he was there momentarily. Strong, strong round here for TATEKI Matsuda, and he still has 1.5 minutes to do some more damage. Referee warning Doherty about hitting behind the ear.
It's funny to see guys trying to strike from this bottom position. I never understood it. If you have the wits about you to throw strikes from there and you have the gas to throw strikes from there, you should have the gas to get back to your feet. Scramble to a better position. This is not a good position for Matt.
That's a very good point. You think fighters sometimes just get too worked up with trying to stay active and maybe show the referee something in that spot?
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
30 seconds to go in round number 2. Again, you're watching TATEKI Matsuda in the black and gold. Matt Doherty in the green and black trunks. We're in the bantamweight division live from Twin River Casino. And it's been all action in this bantamweight fight as expected. When this card was released, this was pointed at as possibly being the fight of the night.
You got Matsuda looking, he's hunting right now for a Kimura. And now he's sitting back for an armbar. It's becoming a scramble. But he's still got the front headlock here. He's still in a good position. He's probably going to try to knee as soon as Doherty gets back. Yes, exactly what I thought.
Right on cue, Matsuda with the knee as Doherty scrambles to his feet. A strong round number 2 for TATEKI Matsuda, who may have regained control of this fight. Let's listen into Doherty's corner.
All right, now watch those, okay? Yeah. All right, they're behind his ear.
Right now, you're behind. You know what you have to do? You have to not get taken down. You understand that? What do you have to do? You have to get taken down. If you get taken down, you've got to scramble up. Don't try that bullshit of going belly down, scramble up if you go to the ground. Keep your elbows in when you do. That's what I get. I want you to listen to that. Elbows. I want you to fucking get there. I don't want you to sit here and start playing games. Push in, I want elbows. You have to win this round. Matt, you have to win this round. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. All right. It's your time, Matt. Fuck up everything you need. Don't fucking give up. Yeah.
I love to listen into the corners and see how the fighters respond. His corner says, you are down. You are losing this fight. That means he's down 2 rounds to none in his corner's eye. So he's got to come out. He's got to finish this fight. He's got to fight hard and look for the finish.
Round 3 underway at CES MMA 23. Matt Doherty, TATEKI Matsuda. And again, we just heard from Matt Doherty's corner, as my broadcast partner Matt Bissett mentioned, saying that he may be down 2 rounds. You wonder if they're just telling him that to make him come out more aggressive. Maybe they do believe the fight is even, because I think the fight might be even at a round apiece.
I think so too.
You think psychologically they tell him he's down 2 to get him to come out and show that aggression?
Yeah, I think so too. You know, Doherty wasn't clear, but I think he won the first round. There wasn't enough time for Matsuda to really establish a good control at the end there. You know, but you know that's something that corners will do to get in the fighter's head and you know, give him something behind him.
And they know their fighters better than anybody, so sometimes it definitely works. Matsuda flipping this left jab early in this 3rd round, showing off his boxing ability. Good head movement as well, too. Sometimes you don't see that from some of the fighters in stand-up, enough of that head movement, but Matsuda's certainly showing that here in this 3rd round. Let his hands go.
Hook.
Nice left hook there by Matsuda.
Landed right on the jaw.
So we're seeing a different side of Tateki Matsuda here in this third round. We saw the ground game at work in round 2, and now again, that eye is now busted open, the right eye of Matt Doherty. You see the blood pouring out. Matsuda has landed cleanly several times here, and it looks like he's busted him open. And that could certainly change momentum here.
The experience is shining through right now in Matsuda because on paper, Doherty is the better boxer, but I think you got a guy who's as composed as Tateki, who's been on The Ultimate Fighter. He's had 12 professional fights. He's fought, a ton of Muay Thai fights. This is just a walk in the park for him.
That's right. On paper, Doherty may be the better boxer, but not right now in this cage here in round 3. You saw a good left-right combo by Matsuda moments ago. Drove the knee right upstairs. Really a full display of Matsuda's arsenal here in this third round. He's letting it go, perhaps fighting like he is down 2 rounds almost.
You know what? I've seen Matsuda fade a little bit too with his cardio, and he looks to be pushing the pace right now. He looks good. He looks really good.
Nice takedown. Matsuda gets Doherty to the canvas again. And I talked to Matsuda before this fight and asked him if he felt desperation having lost his last 2. He says, just another fight to me, as always, trying to get that W, keeping it in the proper perspective, not trying to come out too aggressive and fight like a fighter who's desperate for a win, because sometimes that can work against you. I'm sure you noticed that as well in the past.
Yeah, you gotta be able to deal with what's right in front of you. The past is the past, and Matsuda's been around the block, and he knows that. 2:16
to go in the third round. You see the blood on Matt Doherty's face, courtesy of those left hooks by Tateki Matsuda here in this third round. He's really let his hands go, and now with the takedown, he's got Matsuda on the canvas. We really can't let his hands go and try to counter. It's a real good spot for Matsuda to be in. Being in this position now, Matt, if you're Matsuda, what are you trying to do here?
Well, it looks like he's trying to knee cut right now to side control. He's probably going to try to establish a dominant side control that he's done all along. And you know what? That's just there you go. See, he's trying to push the leg, slide the knee through, and even if he doesn't pass the guard, he's content right here because he's able to control the position, and he's winning it in the judges' eyes. If he can get to side control, I guarantee he's going to try to do a crucifix again and punish him with elbows.
And I agree with you that round 1 may not have been as clear, but I think Matt Doherty won that round. Round 2 clearly went to Tateki Matsuda, and clearly round 3 here, Matt.
Strong side control, and look at the head positioning of Tateki. He's already looking to try to set up this crucifix position. Even if he doesn't trap Doherty's left arm, he's still able to land some good shots.
If you're Doherty, is it again, like you said earlier in this fight, about getting your feet and not trying to strike from this position?
Absolutely. This is a bad position in jiu-jitsu. It's a bad position in wrestling because you're pinned. It's a bad position in MMA because you can't strike from there. Nothing is effective from there. You've got to get to a dominant position. Got to get back to your feet.
Grease scramble. Matsuda regains control, now takes Doherty's back. And now gets his back toward the canvas again. 30 seconds to go in the fight. Matsuda in full control, trying to rain down with the fist. A little bit of ground and pound here maybe to finish the fight.
Great pass to mount there, and he's able to keep the mount. You know what, Tateki he is showing some excellent jiu-jitsu. For being such a great striker, he's showing some excellent jiu-jitsu. Not a lot of guys can keep this position when somebody's bucking so hard from that bottom position. And his jiu-jitsu is shining through. Excellent job.
Great job by Tateki Matsuda. One of the most dominant rounds you'll see in mixed martial arts. Matsuda really dominated this entire round from start to finish. A great job. His corner told him after round 1, you can't fight on your back anymore, and he listened, Matt.
Yeah, definitely. I think both fighters should be proud. That was a good fight. It was a fun fight to watch. I think Matsuda took the second and third round, hands down. But you know what? Doherty took that step up in competition, and he's a beast, and he'll be back.
Let me ask you this. As a fighter like Matt Doherty, assuming this fight goes the way we think it's going to go on the scorecards, what can you learn from this as a fighter? You've only had 4 pro fights. You get humbled a bit here against a veteran. What do you take from this if you're Matt Doherty?
I think you know what, whatever you do, you just go back, look at the tape, look at what you did wrong, look at what he did right. Replay what your corner has said in between rounds, talk to your coaches, and reevaluate and just get back to training. That's all you can really do.
Well, we figured it might be the fight of the night, or at least a candidate for it, and it lived up to the billing. Tateki Matsuda and Matt Doherty in the bantamweight division. It appears for now that Tateki Matsuda has snapped that brief 2-fight losing streak with a dominant turnaround performance in those second and third rounds. That's really where he won the fight. And we saw a little bit of everything in that third round. We saw the stand-up, we saw the ground game, the jiu-jitsu, the ground and pound, a little bit of everything from Tateki Matsuda. An impressive performance down the stretch, and it appears that veteran leadership and that savvy showed through. So a great fight from start to finish here in the bantamweight division. Let's send it down to Adam Plazio for the official decision.
How about a round of applause for both these fighters? After 3 grueling rounds, we go to the scorecards. Judge Wayne Leamer scores it 29-28. Judge Michael Cordero scores it 30-27. Judge Brian Miner scores it 30-26. Your winner by unanimous decision, Tateki Matsuda.